because your ear was ringing, and I was saying, like, that's because you're ascending, you're raising your frequency, you're raising your vibration. And then I had this visual, this, like, download of, a radio station, and when you turn the radio station up to a new station, you go through the period of static. And, like, so if you imagine, like, a radio station is like a bubble, and then there's a tube, and then there's another bubble, and that's the next radio station, then there's a tube, then there's a bubble, and it just goes like that. And so if you're, like, in the bubble, and then you start raising your frequency, you go through the tube, and so you're uncomfortable, you're, like, in a tight space, it feels like, ugh, it's like the birth canal. And then you have, like, physical symptoms sometimes, but also you're just, like, physically discomfort, because you're going through this little tube, and it's spiky and staticky, and it's murky, like, you can't see, it's not clear. And then you're literally hearing that raising of the frequency when you hear the ringing in your ear, and then you pop, you're in the bubble, and it's like, that's when everything, like, comes together, and you start to see your, like, manifestations coming in, and you start to feel the stuff that you've been, like, learning and expanding through. All of a sudden it locks into place, and you embody it because you've dropped into that frequency. And then we go through another, like, this is infinite, then you go through another tunnel, and you raise up to the next one, and you do it again, and it's just this, it's the death and rebirth cycle over and over and over infinitely until we die. And then that is again the death and rebirth cycle, but it's on the next level. Like, we're just going up this spiral, and it gets more expansive and more expansive until it is the whole, until it is the all that is, until it is the infinite void, the infinite universe. Like, that is, source, all of that. And then you start back from the very beginning again, the small, like, the very beginning point, and you just, like, this never-ending cycle of going through, like, space, tube, tunnel, space, tube, tunnel, and, like, it just goes on forever. And the more you get comfortable with the discomfort and understand on the other side of this discomfort is everything I want and have been working for, and it's gonna poop, I'm gonna land there. I just have to keep going through this tunnel, because if I go back, I'm just gonna go back down a level, and there's nowhere else to go but through another tunnel, so I might as well just keep going forward through the discomfort. And the faster you learn that, and the more you work that muscle, it gets so much easier, and you're like, you recognize so much faster, oh, I'm going through a tunnel, I'm going through a death and rebirth, like, we're gonna bear down, we're gonna get through this, because I know that on the other side is what I want. And so it's like, you do that, you close that loop a lot faster, because again, you're going, like, up the spiral, but you're also expanding out. All right, that'll be enough for now.
Okay.